Okay. A good night, everybody, as we welcome in Ben Cian Cohn, Baruch Ian, Dr. Guy, Shimon Klein, Saba. We welcome in Ruven Pollack, Yisrael Fisher. That's, I think, Shalom Fogel. Yes, Mel Zachter, Irving Fishbaum, Marshall Castle, Nachman Chapler, A.B. Spry, Aaron Swade. We welcome in Rabbi Kranz, Michal, Mark Frankel, standing there like a soldier, Mordechai Sultan, Mo Kushner, Menachem Umansky, Ilya Shutman, Moshe Lehman, Avram Schenkman, Eba Arbach, Shelley Zeitlin, Yitzi Muller. We have, let's see here, we have Stephen Kornman, Daniel Rosenberg, Sandy Grunfeld, and here in Shul we have holding the fort, Dr. Elliot Udell has just joined us. Here in Shul we have Moshe Jackman and Berish Gesserman holding the fort down here, as we're dedicated by Baruch Ian Lila Nishmas Estebasyani Yaakov Chaim Ben Abba Abraham Ben Shmuel HaKayin L'Refuah Shalema for Baruch Shalema Ben Alina. We learn dedicated by Aaron Swade, Lila Nishmas Chana Bas Shmuel and Freda Bas Shol, by Mark Frankel L'Refuah Shalema for Chana Bas Gittel Esther and Miriam Sarah Bas Zipporah, by Baruch Goldwasser, with appreciation for what the Rebbeinu Shalom did for his family and for the Chayla Yisrael. And we learned for my Shver, Avigdor ben Rivka, Meir ben Chaya Sarah, who's back unfortunately in the hospital, and Yehuda Cyril Bas Miriam, that they should have a Refuah Shalema B'Sech Shachar Yisrael. In preface to tonight's shir, I want to say that as we know on Hoshana Rabbah, the piskais, the verdicts are delivered to the angels, so we could still influence that a bad verdict should be withdrawn and held back, and a good verdict should be sent out. So when we learn to be mekayim the mitzvah of a dibarta bam lasis nachas ruach liyitzreinu. It should be kisris b'fnei aparatnios, like a shield in front of retribution. It should be megan umatzli. We are holding on the bottom of Daf Nun Beis Amid Beis. We're holding by Tanya. Tanya, 4 lines from the bottom of Nun Beis Amid Beis. Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Mikudeshes. Rabbi Yehuda says that if a kohen is Mekadesh with his chelik of kachim, the woman is Mikudeshes. Rabbi Yaisi Aimer Eina Mikudeshes. And Rabbi Yaisi says she's not Mikudeshes. So it's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda that a person's portion of kachim belongs to him, and he could be mekadesh a woman with it. While, as we said, Rabbi Yaisi holds that mishulchan gevaya kozachya, it comes from the divine table, and you cannot be mekadesh. And the Gemara tells us, Amar Rabbi Yochanan shneim mikra echad darshu. Both of them expound the same pasuk. It says, V'zeh yeh lecha mikodesh hakadashim min ha'esh. This should be to you your portion from the Holy of Holies, from the fire offering. Rabbi Yehuda Savar, it says, V'zeh yeh lecha l'chol tzarchecha, for you and all your needs, so you can be mekadesh and isha with it. Rabbi Yaisi Savar ke'eish, it's like fire. Ma'esh la'achila, just like the part of the carbon that's consigned to the fire is only for the consumption on the mizbeach. Afhu nami, so also the portion that the kohen gets is only la'achila, only for eating, but not to use it for Kiddushin. Rabbi Yochanan, as we start the top of Nun Gimel Amud Aleph, Rabbi Yochanan, Nimnu v'gamru, they voted and they came to a decision. HaMekadesh b'chelkai, if a kohen is mekadesh a woman with his portion, bein kachei kachim or bein kachim kalam, whether it's his portion in kachei kachim like a chatas or an asham, or his portion in kachim kalam like a toid or a shlamim, loy kidesh. However, Rav says there was no such vote, but rather adayin hi machloikis, it's still up in controversy. Amar Abaya, Kavase Rabbi Yochanan mistavra. It's reasonable to assume, like Rabbi Yochanan, that kachim are not the personal property of the kohen to do whatever he wants. The Tanya, for we learned in the Brisa, it's interesting. You cannot do barter with your portion. The different Kahanim are given portions. And there's different stuff. There's mincha, meal offering, and poultry, and bird offerings, and meat. Let's say a Kohen doesn't want to have meat. Could he barter his meat for a mincha? Let's say he wants to have beef. Can he barter his mincha for meat? Let's say he wants to have poultry. Could he barter his portion in the mincha for a portion of the chatas ha'oif? Let's say he wants to have meat. Can he barter his poultry for meat? Can you do barter? So this is now the next discussion of the Gemara, the Tanya. Menayin shein cholkim menachos keneged zvachim. How do you know that you're not allowed to barter a meal offering for an animal offering, or vice versa? The Talmud leimer v'chol mincha asher te'ofa betaner, any meal offering which is baked in the oven, l'kol b'nei Aaron tia. It should go to each personal kohen. He can't take it and barter it so that it doesn't go to all the b'nei Aaron. I might think that you cannot barter a meal offering for a meat offering, because it's not the next step in poverty. In other words, there are certain karbanos that are oila v'yored, depending upon a person's monetary status. The din is, if you can't afford an animal, you bring a bird offering. If you can't afford a bird offering, then you bring a meal offering. So a meal offering is never in place of a meat offering. What's in place of the meat offering, what's next in the totem pole, is a bird offering. So I might think, I might think that you could barter a meal offering for a bird offering, because it's the next step. If you can't afford a bird offering, then you bring a meal offering. Talmud Leimer, it repeats, the chol naaseh b'marcheshes, any mincha made in a deep fryer, that's a low pot, a deep pot, l'chol b'nei Aaron tia. Again, it has to be to each and every kohen. He can't give away his portion in trade. So why? Because there are different types of offerings. Shalolo mine damim, because the bird is a blood offering. Valolo mine kvachim, while a mincha is a flour offering that you take a kmitza, a handful from, and you smoke it up on the mizbeach. I might think, however, you could barter bird offerings for meat offerings because they're both blood offerings. Shalolo v'alolo mine damim. Talmud Leimer, it says again, al machbas, whatever is made on the griddle, l'chol b'nei Aaron, is also for all the b'nei Aaron, so you can't barter it. So the Gemara says, well, I might think that you cannot divide. And by the way, that's an extra pasuk, so im eino inyan for the mincha, it's coming to tell you that you can't do bird offerings to barter it for meal offerings. So the Gemara says, okay, bird offerings for meat offerings, because there's a different way to kill them. The zvachim, the meat offering, is with shchita, and the bird offering is with the hand, with malika. Shalolu ma'aseyim biyad, because the bird offering is done with the hand at the nape of the neck. Va'alalu, while a meat offering, ma'aseyim b'keli, is shechted with a knife. Aval yecholku menachas kenegin menachas, but I might think you could barter one mincha for another mincha. Shalolu va'alalu ma'aseyim biyad. Both of them are done by taking the kmitza with the three fingers. Talmud Leimer v'chol mincha b'lu lavash emen, any mincha needed with oil, l'chol b'nei Aaron. Again, it has to go to each and every kohen. They can't barter their portion. So lo yachol lo yecholku machbas kenegen marcheshes. I might think that you can barter a mincha that's grilled on a griddle and is like a pancake, kenegen marcheshes, to barter it for that which is made in a deep pot, which is spongy, umarcheshes, and that which is made in a deep pot, kenegen machbas, was something made on the griddle. Shezuma seim rachim, the one that's made in the deep pot is soft, like a donut. V'zuma seim koshim, the one that's made on the griddle is flat and hard. Maybe you could barter one type of one carbon of grill for another carbon of grill, or another one carbon of deep fry for another carbon of deep fry. You like the way one looks better than the other. Because both of the machbas are hard. Inami masem rachim, or both of the macheshes are soft. Talmud leimer v'chavreva, that which is dry, l'chol b'nei arantia. So now the Gemara says, okay, yochel lo yecholku b'kachei hakadoshim. I might think that you cannot barter by kachei hakadoshim. All menachas are kodesh hakadoshim, and a chatas and an oshim is also kodesh hakadoshim. Aval yecholku b'kachim kalim. I might think that you could barter a shlamim with a taida, with bachar, with ma'aser behema, which are all kachim kalim. Talmud leimer ish ka'achiv, a man like his fellow. Each kohen gets an equal portion. V'samachlei, and next to it says im al taida, Thanksgiving offering, and Thanksgiving offering is kachim kalim. And the fact that it's put next to Ish Ka'achiv by Kachei Kadashim, Keshem She'ein Cholkim B'Kachei Kachim, just like they can't barter by Kachei Kachim, Kach Ein Cholkim B'Kachei Kalim. Now we continue this brisa, which teaches us some other lessons. Ish Chaylik, any man can take a portion if he's a Kayin, Afilu Balmum, even if he's a blemished Kayin. Even though a blemished kohen can't do the avodah, but he could take a portion. The eina cotton chaylik, but a minor, it's only an ish, an adult kohen, but a minor kohen does not get a portion. Va'afilu tam, even if he's unblemished. Now, remember, we're trying to prove over here that Rabbi Yehuda too reversed his opinion, like Rabbi Yochanan. And that he also reverses his opinion and holds that you cannot be mekadesh with your portion of a carbon because it's not yours; it's on the Shulchan Gevaya. So the Gemara says the raya is because stam safra. This is what we know. Safra is also Torah's kahanim, the midrashim on Vayikra. Stam safra, that this comes from Mani Rabbi Yehuda. You can't barter it because it's not yours. You're only getting it from the table of Hashem. You can't barter that which you get from Hashem's table. Shema mina. Amar Rava. So Rava says, Ukarav miloi Tanya. Do we not have a raya like Rav that it's still a machlokes, and there's an opinion that holds that the property of the kohen is his own property, and he could be mekadesh with it. Vatanya, we learned in a brisa, hatznuin moishkin es yedehem, the modest kohanim, they didn't go to take a portion. V'agargonim cholkin, while the gluttonous ones took big portions. Now the assumption is the gluttonous ones took big portions to barter with them. My cholkin, says the Gemara, no. What does it mean, cholkim? It means koitvim. They took a bigger portion, while the modest ones didn't take anything. But whatever they took to eat, not to barter. Kedekatani seifa, ma'isa be'echad shechataf chelkoi v'chelik chavei. Right? He took his portion and his friend's portion. V'hayukarnai say ben chamtzin, and they called him the snatcher. Ad yoy moisei. In other words, a person has to be careful what they do, because they could be known by what they do for a very long time. A person has to be, as a Talmud of Ramosha, I really learned the importance of watching your shem tov, your keser shem tov. So you have to be careful. You're going to snatch like that, and you're going to be known after that brazen activity. Amar Rabba by Rav Shila Mikra, where do we see that the Lashon Chamtzen means to snatch? Where do we see that? Where do we see that the Lashon of Chamtzen means to snatch? As we welcome in Richard Rosenzweig joining us, says the Gemara, Amar Rabba bar Shila Mikra Elikai, my God, Palteni miyad Rasha, save me from the hands of the wicked, mikaf ma'avel v'chaymitz, from the person that acts in a perverse way and a snatcher. Rabba Amar Mehacha, limdu heitev, learn well, dirshu mishpat, seek out justice, ashru chometz, and straighten the lot of he who was victimized. Now we learned in the Mishnah, Ma'aser Sheni, the second tithe, Bein b'shoigeg, bein b'mezid, lo kiddush. The second tithe, whether he gave it to the woman unaware, or they were aware, lo kiddush divrei Rameir. Now we explained that this is because Rameir holds, either way, regardless of whether he knew or not, Ma'aser Sheni is Mammon Gavayu, and can't be used for Kiddushin, divrei Rameir. Rabbi Yehuda shoigeg like Kiddush. If she was unaware, it's not good Kiddushin. Why? Ostensibly, the reason is because if she knew, she wouldn't want it because Ma'aser Sheni, she's restricted to only eat in Yerushalayim. So she thought it was regular food that she could eat anywhere. So shoigeg like Kiddush, mazid, but if she knew about it, and she accepted it, Kiddush. Because Rabbi Yehuda holds it's not Mammon Gavaya. So the Gemara says, Minani Mili, how does Rameir know that Ma'aser Sheni is Mammon Gavaya, and therefore it can't be used for Kiddushin? Rav Acha b'rei Rava Mishmei the Gemara. Rav Acha b'rei Rava says in the name of tradition. It's very interesting. He said it in the name of tradition. They knew that this was the tradition. V'kol Ma'isa Aretz, and all the tithe of the land, Mizera Aretz, from the seed of the land, Mepriya Eitz, from the fruit of the land, La Hashemhu, it belongs to Hashem, Kodesh La Hashem, holy to Hashem. And therefore we darshan, La Hashemhu, it belongs to Hashem, V'loi L'kadosh B'yisha, and not to be Mekadosh and Isha. That's how Rameir knows that whether it's Shogeg, whether it's Mezid, it can't be used. Asks the Gemara, hold everything. 1 second. Hari Trumas Meiser is that when you give Meiser to the Levi, he has to take from it 1/10 and give it to the Kohen. Now Trumas Meiser, the Chsiv came to Rimu Gam Ata Trumas Hashem, and the din is a Kohen could be Mekadosh with Trumas Meiser. The Tanana Mekadosh B'Truma Mekudeshes says, that there it's different. It doesn't say La Hashem. It says Trumas Hashem, but it doesn't say like by Meiser that it's La Hashem. Says Gemara, Deloik Sibei La Hashem. Says Gemara, that's not a good enough chiluk. Varichala, the first of the dough, Dichsiv Ba Titnu La Hashem. So it does say La Hashem. V'tanana Mekadosh B'Truma is Mekadeshes. If you're Mekadosh with anything that's considered Truma, it's a good Kiddushin. And Chala is considered Truma. Says Gemara, there it's different. The like said by Kodesh. By Meiser it says La Hashem, and it also says Kodesh. Remember what it says by Meiser. It says Kodesh La Hashemu. So, in fact, the Gemara, but that can't be the reason either. Vari Shvius, the Chsiv Bo Yovel Hu Kodesh Tia Lachem, says Kodesh, and we already learned with Marshall with gathering the basket of figs, right? That you can be Mekadosh with Shvius. V'tanana Mekadosh b'Perish Shvius Mekadeshes. Says Gemara, the like Sibbe La Hashem. There it doesn't say La Hashem, it just says Kodesh by Shvius, it doesn't also say La Hashem. Says Gemara, but what about Truma? Truma Dichsiv Kodesh Yisrael La Hashem. Holy is Yisrael La Hashem, Reishis Tvoasa, the first of his crop. And yet, Vatanana Mekadosh b'Trumas Mekudeshes. So you see that by Truma it says both Kodesh and La Hashem, and yet you could do Kiddushin. So why is Ma'aser Sheni different? Says the Gemara, that pasuk Kodesh Yishal La Hashem Reishis Tvuasai is not talking about the Truma. It's talking about Klal Yisrael. If you remember that this is brought down in the beginning of Chumash, which we're going to do Mamish next week. It says Bereishis B'Shvil Yisrael Shenikra Reishis Tvuasai, the first of his crop. So the pasuk is not talking about Truma; it's talking about Kodesh, about Yisrael. Hahu be Yisrael Ksiv. Says the Gemara, yeah, but even if it's talking about Yisrael, but since it calls Yisrael Truma, since it calls Yisrael like Truma, Reishis Kodesh LaHashem, shouldn't that prove that you shouldn't be able to do Kiddushin with it? Says the Gemara, you're right. Even if it says Kodesh LaHashem, you still could do Kiddushin with it. Why does Rameir hold by Ma'aser Sheni you can't do it? Because it says LaHashem Hu. Hu means Hu B'Av Yosa Yehi. It always has to stay in the state of LaHashem. It cannot be used for anything like Kiddushin. As the Gemara says, Tirgum Rav and Saba Kamei de Rav Amakra Kodesh LaHashem Hu. Hu B'Av Yosa Yehi. It has to remain that way. It can't be diverted for anything else like Kiddushin. Okay, just getting underway over here, just starting on this marathon night where we get ready so we don't have to do 3 blot on Matzah Yom Tov. And you know what 3 blot on Matzah Yom Tov could be. Irving could tell you, he's been by Shiurim by me in Borough Park where I did 3 blot. But 3 blot already is not a picnic, especially after a long Yom Tov and after Simchas Torah. I know Beres says Sakatumi, but
Ankle's waiting for 4.
Yeah. Well, with my Zoom Daf, I never did 4. I had done 4.
It's always the first for everything.
Yeah, but anyway.
No, but we definitely did 3, Rabbi, a bunch of times.
We did do 3 on this. Yeah, I said that, but with the Zoom Daf, I never did 4. But if I could get away with doing 2 instead of 3, I'm doing all of you a favor. Even though it's harder tonight, but anyway, any time you spend tonight learning before the verdicts are sent out, it's really worthwhile. I mean, this is the night to learn. I mean, a lot of people, the Aruch HaShulchan brings down that the minig was to stay up the whole night today in learning. Some people say the whole Sefer Tillim tonight. It's it's a good night to learn.
You passed up a hockey game tonight to come and learn. Go figure.
Yeah, it shows that you're about tshuva. It really does. It's Marshall, you fill me with joy. Giving up a hockey game. Mamish.
I love that guy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, Mamish, it's some people say Toivli Teres Picha me Alfei Zav Chesef, and he says Toivli Teres Picha from the goalie and a puck. Okay.
Amen.
Okay. That looks good, Marshall. Have it on me. Would even be better with a glass of ice. Now.
This is a 16-ounce can too. It's a big one.
Now. So now, the Gemara says, now we move over to Hektish. Now, when we talk about Hektish, I have to tell you a few variables over here. The first variable is whether Hektish goes off from an item only when you do it b'mezid, knowingly, or if it goes off even b'shoigeg. That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, would the woman be agree to the Kiddushin if she didn't know that it was hektish, and thereby she's being an accomplice to misappropriating hektish. So now let's talk it out. This machlokes Rameir and Rabbi Yehuda. Ubehektish b'meizid kiddush. If they were aware, it's a good kiddushin. B'shoigeg like kiddush. If they weren't aware, it's not a good kiddushin. Divra Rameir. Rabbi Yehuda says the reverse. B'shoigeg kiddush. If they weren't aware, it's a good kiddushin. B'meizid like kiddush. If they were aware, it is a good kiddushin. Okay. So Amar Rabbi Yaakov, Shamis minod Rabbi Yochanan tarte. I heard from Rabbi Yochanan 2 dinim. Shigigas meiser de Rabbi Yehuda, the din of where it was b'shageg meiser, according to Rabbi Yehuda, where he says that it's a good kiddushin, and shigigas hegdish de Rameir, and the shogeg of hegdish according to Rameir, where Rameir says, shigigas meiser de Rabbi Yehuda, the shigigas meiser of Rabbi Yehuda. Now remember what Rabbi Yehuda said, that by meiser, if it was shogeg, then it's not a good kiddushin. If it was meiser sheni and it's shogeg, it's not a good kiddushin. Where we said the svara was because since she's going to be restricted to use it only in Yerushalayim, if she would have known that, she would have not been masking. So that's shigigas meiser according to Rabbi Yehuda, and shigigas hektish to Rameir. And the case of shigigas hektish according to Rameir, where he says it's not a good kiddushin. So now he says, Rabbi Yochanan says, Shneim ein isha miskadeshes behem. Both by meiser according to Rabbi Yehuda b'shogeg, an isha is not miskadeshes, and by hektish according to Rameir, it's not a good kiddushin. Chada, by one of them, lefisha ein isha roitza. The woman doesn't want it. The chada, and by one of them, lefisha ein shneim roitza. They both don't want it. So the question is, which one is that one doesn't want it, and which one is that both don't want it? Is it one was the shigigas meiser according to Rabbi Meir, and one was shigigas hektish according to Rabbi Yehuda. V'lo yadana heiminayu, and I don't know which one is one of them don't want it, and which one is both of them don't want it. So Rabbi Yirmiyah says what seems to be the logical explanation. By Meiser Sheni, he wants it. If he would have known, he wants it, because this way he gives it away and he doesn't have to schlep up to Yerushalayim. She doesn't want it because now she's restricted to eat it only in Yerushalayim. She thought she was getting something that she could eat anywhere. So I'm Rabbi Yomi Nirzi Anan. Meiser, ihi loy nichala. She doesn't want it. Mishum tircha d'orcha, because she now has to schlep it to Yerushalayim. She thought she was getting something that she could eat anywhere. Iyo nichala, he wants it because now he doesn't have to schlep anything anywhere. The niknayet samamela, he gets the woman, without a bother. Ela hektish, but by hektish, where they're unaware, both of them would not want to misappropriate hektish. Ela hektish travayu loy nichlo. They both are not happy. The naschel hektish al yadayu, that hektish should be profaned because of them. Now Rabbi Yaakov suggests the opposite. Rabbi Yaakov am ipcha mistavra. Miloi ikela meimer meiser iloi nichala. She doesn't want it because she's now going to have to schlep it to Yerushalayim. Iloi nichala mishum tircha de'orcha. He also doesn't want it because since it doesn't have value till it gets to Yerushalayim, he's now going to be responsible for the whole way. Iloi nichala mishum unsa de'orcha, because he's going to be responsible for the whole way. Ela hektish bishlai me'ihi loi nichala. She doesn't want it. The naskala hektish al yada, because she doesn't want it. Why should she be mekudeshes through an aveira, through hektish going off? Ihu, he, however, miloi nichalei de niknei itza memela. He's happy that he's getting a woman for free without any trouble. Boy mine rava mirav chista. Isha ein miskadeshes. Okay, the woman is not mikadeshes according to according to Rabbi Yehuda. If it's done b'shoigeg with hektish, she's not mikadeshes. What happens to the crops that he gave her? Does it go out l'chulin or not? Most ma'ashi yotza l'chulin. The money of the Ma'aser Sheni, if they redeem Ma'aser Sheni and it's money, does the money go l'chulin? So the Gemara says, well, that's simple. If she's not mekudeshes, so then the money wasn't used for anything, so then it doesn't go out l'chulin. Amalei ishein miskadeshes. If the woman is not mekudeshes, how does the kedusha go off? If it's not used, the kedusha remains. Ma'i seich yotza l'chulin. Now, boy minei Reb Chia bar Avin merav. Reb Chia bar Avin inquires of Rav. Boy minei Reb Chia bar Avin merav Chister b'mecher mai. What happens if instead of Kiddushin, it's talking about where Marshall gives money of hektish to buy something? What's the din then? Amalei af b'mecher loikana. It doesn't work by mecher either, because since the seller is not going to want to have hektish profaned by him, so it doesn't work. So the Gemara asks, what do you mean? You're saying that b'shoigeg, the kedusha doesn't go off the item? Eisvei. So now we have to know the beginning of this teaching in Masechtas Meila. There the Gemara tells us that if the gizber, let's say that Dr. Guy was a money changer. So Dr. Guy is a money changer, and the gizber deposits money by Dr. Guy. So it's understood that a gizber could use. It's understood that a money changer would use money. So if it was wrapped up and tied up, so then he's not supposed to use it. If he opens it up and misappropriates it and uses it, then Dr. Guy is mal. But if it was loose money, so it's understood that the money changer could use it, then if he uses it, the gizber is mal. Because remember, if you do the shlichus of the gizber by Meila, there's yesh shliach l'dvar aveira, so then the gizber will be mal. Now the question is, if it wasn't a money changer, but AB was a storekeeper, and the gizber deposited it by AB loose, the question is AB have a din of a money changer who could use it if it's loose, because he's also using a lot of loose change, or does he have a din of a balabayis who's not allowed to use it even when it's loose? So Eisrei chenveni kebalabayis. Maybe the storekeeper is like a regular balabas. He can't use it even when it's loose. So if he uses it, he's mal. Divrei Meir, Rabbi Yehuda Omer chenveni kishulchani. That the storekeeper is like a money changer who could use it, and therefore the gizber is male. But adkanli mifligei ala demar saver chenveni kishulchani, that the storekeeper is like the money changer, mar saver chenveni kabalabayis. But everybody holds where it's used b'shoygeg, it goes, the kedusha goes off. Ava the kuli alma im hoitzi mal. So the Gemara says, so you want to know that you have a kasha. Reb Meir lidvar of the Rabbi Yehuda kamer. Reb Meir is saying, according to your opinion, Rabbi Yehuda, lididi, according to me, im hoitzi nami loimal. Even if you use it, you're also not mal, because there's no mila b'shoygeg. Elididach, that you hold that there is mila b'shoygeg, oideli mia, at least admit to me that the chenveni kabalabayis, that even if it's loose money, maybe the storekeeper had no right to use it, and when he uses it, it's considered that he's deviating, and therefore he's mal. And he says, no, like Yishulchani. He's like a money changer, that unless it's wrapped up, he had the right to use it, and then the gizba will be maya. I'm a Rav. Oh, you're going to change the channel already? Holding by changing the channel.